What's up, everybody? We are back again with a writing log. We're in another jam, and we're gonna work on a collab today. And I'm gonna be doing the bass and drums. So let's hop right into what we're working with. And you know what? I'm actually gonna start putting up markers as well. Alright, and that's just rough sections of what we're going to be looking at. I didn't want to make it too abrasive with the stops. I did notice there's a change here. And there's kind of a change. But I'm just going to kind of consider those like a B1, B2, like a subsection basically. Let's go ahead and start pulling up some samples. This game is kind of like a Hotline Miami kind of inspired game. It doesn't have to be necessarily the 80s, but I just really like the I don't know, just like the upbeat, very fast-paced kind of drum and bass. So I think that's kind of what we're gonna grab. I was playing with like a digital kit, but usually I just go in here and I'll find a couple samples I like. Okay. Oh, let me bring this over. So this is battery. Battery is just like a sampler essentially, and sometimes, especially with like risers and impacts, I'll just drag and drop. But you can also set them up in the actual sampler and use the MIDI keyboard, which is typically a good way to figure it out. Here. And now this is listening to everything. Let's start that in. That one. Usually subbies, let's go with sub. Yeah, I like that. Let's go ahead and arm this. I'm not in love with the high end on here. And what's nice about battery is you can do a lot of the filtering right from here. So got me kicked, but we just keep it now. Let's see. We're gonna look for some snare sounds. Have some sound. Let's try to get an actual. Snares. No, I'm going to drop in that first one. I do like it. This over here. Then we go for one more. I don't know. Maybe I'm not in love with that. Okay, let's live with that for now. And then something else we're probably going to want to grab is hi-hats. Sorry, hi-hats. Yeah, okay, and we got a little variation there, and got a nice open one. So with those building blocks, we can start to make something. You know, let's actually take it from this part right here. And we're going to align our marker. So set up there. We're going to drop in a MIDI item. And the first thing we're going to do is find the kick. And we're just doing this on the beat. Keep in mind the duration does not matter. You can also use these. But I like to do this because that's how I program all the other MIDI. I will use the diamonds if it's like something really tight. And I'm just imagining 4 on the floor. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to keep that pumping. tapping the whole time, super simple. And I'm thinking snare every other, like a boom, pap, boom, pap. We can also do something slower, where we're putting the snares in the middle. I think that's a little too slow. So we're going to go ahead and do on the tune 4. Yeah. Another option we have is something like a little more linear drumming, where we're dropping out the kick, so it's and that would give us a little more room for something a little more stylized, like where you now you can have a little more room to mess around. I mean, I guess you can kind of do it anyways, but that is kind of the angles we can take on it. I'm going to go ahead and put this back, and then we're going to want some hi-hat. So let's just start off and just do something super simple. That is just holding it down. Try to go on the offbeat. And that's kind of what I'm feeling for the vibe, is the offbeats. So let's say we hold something like that. And I want that snare to land a little different. So I'm just imagining a pattern, and I'm kind of imagining like boom, ba-doo, boom, boom, or something that has a little bit more of a bounce to it. So see, if we just keep it straight on the beat. Oh man, I didn't know that's hanging over like that. Funny. Versus, and there's kind of like a line between too much and not enough. So, and keep in mind this would still be hitting on the ones, so it's keeping the same thing, it's just adding more. Okay. Yeah, I'm making like a butt up. See how it's kind of getting crowded? I'm having to erase a lot of stuff. That's a good place to do something like this. Hear the cadence of the music dropping. So we kind of want to follow that. So I would do something in the beginning where it's a whole note, half, 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 half. So if you look here, I did that little open hi-hat on the end. So maybe a good way to open that up would be and I'm just doing something to present, like, so now it's going from whole, half, half in the melody. Now the rhythm is also doing something just to kind of keep keep that idea and just reinforce it. And so let's see. I know this idea changes a little bit. It's like a subsection. Okay. So let's take it into context and let's bring it back here. Coming in a little heavy, but I'm thinking some sort of like filter opening, just something a little more production. But we can keep something really simple over the beginning and then have this be kind of like where it spanks. Let's see, I guess we would be doing something like 3 reps, which is a little unique. And then I feel like it strips back on this, so maybe we can strip this back as well. And we can make some more variation on this as well. But let's just consider that for a moment and let's take it back to the beginning. And let's try to really strip this thing down. We're going to take out all the in-between notes, giving it some flair. And let's just hear the bare bones. Okay. And I'm trying to think of, I think I can throw something on here easy. When I do automations, I tend just to use like stock plugins, something like this. And actually, high pass, and we'll open it up, see if that works. And so we're just going to take band 5, the frequency. Now we have an automation channel. And all we're going to do is have it open all the way up. And to see what this looks like in the plugin, something like this. And so at the very start of the automation, this is the value. And it corresponds right there. And then as the automation goes along, it follows. That is like super not, this is very raw. As you see, I just kind of threw it together. That would be the rough idea. Let's see. Yeah. And then we can go ahead and minimize this. Here. Go to the offbeats. We're just trying out options. Battery is screaming, so let's bring that down. also, just to note, the way I layered this is I should be able to take this right here. We have the next layer. And the next layer. So I understand that it may sound really weak. But the purpose there is that we're going to layer it later. We're just trying to use this as like a writing tool, and then it'll come together. I don't want anyone to be like, holy hell, that sounds like. I'm kind of feeling this again. And I like that. So let's play a little more forcefully on this. Okay, I think I'm liking where this is going. Let's see if we can't spice it up a little bit and make it so it moves a little quicker. I'm going to do this with a little bit of dynamics for the first time yet. And all we're doing in here is just kind of filling in between with lighter notes. And the idea here is now it's going to kind of drive a little more because it's going like exactly on it. But because there's variation that lines up with the melody, it kind of reinforces the melody and just drives the whole piece a little further. And this sounds a little crazy right now. It needs love. Okay. Let me just make sure. I'll work with the other hi-hats. It's a little better. Kind of like how this did at the end. Be a great place for a crash. It's not a crash, but let's try this. Maybe this would be a good place to do that. Let's see here. So now what I'm doing different is I am kind of doing what we did in the very beginning where I showed if you did it like every other. So I'm giving it like a slower feel. So the hi-hat speeding up, but then the kick drum that's coming in is now going to be at a much, or the kick and snare I should say, would feel like a little bit more of like spaced out. So bing da da ding. I'm gonna try to get that bing da da ding. I don't know if I love the timing of that. Something feels a little awkward. I don't know. It's not landing right. And something that I'm doing that's not normal here is I'm typically the snare would land right there, but it sounded better, just a little bit off. So I'm going with what sounds good. Maybe it's just giving like a little bit before the beat, and that's changing the way it's perceived. That could be it. See if I go back on the straight beats here, if it'll fix it. No, it still sounds better right here. So bump. Okay, I'm feeling something like that. Drop this. And I just moved that there because that matches with the last two notes, and I feel like that's a better emphasis. So let's bring it back to the beginning. Let me do a quick camera check. Camera looks great. Something else I tend to do on projects. Set the cursor to 0 and set the measure to 1. And that just means I have a little bit of pre-roll, so I could, I don't know, you just have some room. It's not like you're always butting up against the very beginning. And I know this part is still pending changes, but I'm thinking I'm gonna just make an easy loop to get from the ending over here back to the start. It loops pretty well, I think, on its own. But this would also mean I would need to do essentially the reverse of this. So let's open back up that automation. So I think instead it would have to be something like this. In order for at least the drums to kind of have continuity of it closing and then starting to open. And again, this doesn't need to be just an EQ. There's other tools I could use to kind of fade it in and yeah, I just kind of have to think about it. I can see maybe like a reverb, like doing like a big reverb, and then the fundamental comes in, like the prime, not the reverb channel. Range. And I'm just doing something there. I'm taking an older part. I'm giving it some variation. I'm just trying to kind of get this thing closer to landing on where the intro is. Maybe a drop. Now I'm going to glue it so it's all within one project. And we are going to take all of these and we're going to divide it up. Oh, I forgot I even had this. I don't know if I even like the snare on this part, especially because it's going to change up right there. Let's try taking out half of it. And we could always do different layers as well. Let's just take it out for now. sequencer, it has that fade out. I just wanted to land on there for the loop. So now, since we only really use 3 different types of instruments, I'm just going to bring them out to 3 different channels, and that's going to be the kick channel, the snare channel, and the hi-hat channel. Okay, we'll go break out. Now go. It will be on. Snares, I've done before. And all I'm doing here is I am setting the output of the samples to go into individual channels. And the reason I want to do that is I'm going to process all of these as their own thing. For instance, the EQ you would apply on a kick would not be the same as what you do on like a hi-hat. So it gives us the opportunity to be a little more precise and just kind of tune it in a little more close. Let's see if we get this work. Now let's look at our routing, and this is the kick channel. So we're going to see it from Patty. It keeps going 1, 2, 1, 2. Take that, tap out, and then you want the snare. Take this. I'm going to go Steve. This. I want to go see Patty. Go to source 4. This is with those. And with hi-hat. See for Patty. New channels. Process. All right. Then take battery. Remove master. Now you can see. So now we have 3 independent channels. And what we're going to go ahead and do is, well, let's see, how do we want to do this first? Let's do some EQ. So we're going to start off. Sorry, let me open this up. There we go. Start off on the kick. And this is everything on the top. So I think there's some good information right about here. Now let's take this guy. So the goal is we want sub to come through, and we want some clickiness to come through. And depending on where you, what part of the clickiness you keep will depend on how it's going to stand out. I was thinking somewhere in this ballpark is going to be a good clickiness to have. And then of course just like a 60s or, you know what I mean, like 60, 80, like that kind of area for like the sub. So. So we're not actually going to boost this here. We're just using this for information purposes. So I'm going to turn this off for now. And let's go ahead and put a high pass. Go through something like there. There's nothing really useful on this side. We're going to do this right here, where we're just taking a very high peak and we're just going to run it across. I'm just looking for anything offensive. So then that's just for like shelving. I'm gonna try to run something interesting into it, something that should give it some EQ and just some like flavor. So let's go ahead and try this out, and I'm gonna drop this right here. all that was just another EQ. That one's a little bit more flavorful because it's supposed to be like a vintage emulation. And I just boosted it in the exact same spot kind of before, where it's like that 5K range. I boosted that. There's a little knob that, or a switch that you could pick that kind of boosts between like a 3 or like a 6K. And I left that on the 6K. And I took 60 hertz on the bottom and I just kind of pushed that. And then since we are adding, I just dropped the level maybe like 2.5. Just dropped it a little bit just to kind of compensate for that. And then, you know, I should probably put in between is some compression. And I'll show you the list that we're working with here. We're probably going to go with the 1176 because it's pretty dang quick. And I think we're going to do a fast attack, and let's drop the release a little bit. Let's try to jump that in between. So I'm just changing the process here. So I'm doing the shelving, so we're just removing some EQ. Then I'd be doing some very fast compression that's going to hit the initial, and that's going to kind of make it like a boom, boom. It's just kind of curving it a little bit. It's like you can say it's like the transient is being adjusted, and then third I have the EQ boost going on. Chill for now. So we're going to grab another EQ for our snare. Something like that. Shelf. And then let's go ahead and grab I don't love that, but I do like this. And I like this. So we're just doing a little bit of reductive EQ, and I think something that is cool for a lot of snares is some reverb, just something to kind of open it up a little bit. So I'm thinking we're just gonna do like a little echo chamber. I'm just kind of raising up the filter. So here's dry. Here's wet. let's squash that. I'm kind of thinking these into 160. No, I don't think we will. I'm thinking we're gonna go with a distressor. Happy with that. And there is something I wanted to do with this. I was thinking take the pan and just give it kind of a kick to the side. And we're just repeating the same process, just different spaces. Something a little different. I'm going to pull up Soothe and see if I can control some of that hi-hat, high end. Chirpiness, that's crazy. squeezing it too much. I was just gonna cool this thing off a little bit. I have some ideas. I'm thinking something like this. And here is something. We'll go Soothe again. Oh, yeah, we'll do Soothe. Let's see, it's like 160. That's pretty fair. I'm even gonna go like 150, I guess. And what we're gonna do here is we're going to sidechain the kick to the primary track. Actually, delete that. Kick to Soothe. Then we're going to open this up and we're going to go just like that. I take it there's not a whole lot of low information that's already in the way anyways. Cool. I think we are off to a pretty good setup as is. So we're going to do one last thing before I'm just going to send this for review, and that's going to be the drum bus. And essentially what we're going to do with the drum bus is glue all the pieces together. Keep in mind this, it's snare twice. This is really like bare bones. Like there's a ton more that I could do with this. The automation in and out is super easy. It's just an EQ curve. Like layering. That's a huge part. Whoa, that snare was because I have everything doubled. Layering's a huge aspect of this. Having kind of a place for everything is a huge aspect of this. It's I don't know. It's not my best drum piece. It's a little out of my normal element. I could totally see myself going back over and recording like a drum kit with like a big reverb and kind of using that as like a reverb bus. I think that would be super cool on this. But right now, this is kind of where we're just demoing something out. So let's take our drum bus. And we have already done a lot of the front. So now we're going to do some slower compression. So we've got our LA2A. And I'm probably going to be shooting for like 2 to 3 decibels reduction. And then I'm trying to match the volume before to after, so I'm not getting like a volume bias. Cool, I'm liking that. We can go and do a little more EQ if we feel like we want to do some EQ. This is all like the flavor stuff. This is all the stuff that's just kind of for fun. What I'm thinking about is putting a, I'm trying to think of even what we should call it, putting a tape emulation on it. Because I just got some pretty cool tape emulators, and let's try the Ampex on this. I just want to see if I can make something cool. Definitely is a little more roundness to it. I feel like I lost some of the higher information. Mind you, it's not a huge difference, or it's just kind of like a detail. I'm actually going to take one last stab at some EQ. I'm just going to be looking for stuff that's not meshing very well. I'm going to bring up that just a little bit. I think more of the body in here I'm just not vibing with as much. I really like some of the high-end information over here, so I'm actually going to put a high shelf on. And if I knew I was going to do this much, I probably would have actually grabbed some more fancy, like vintage EQ, or one of like the, I don't know, just something that had a little more flavor, a little more character. let's go. What do I want to do to glue all of this together? I feel like a little bit of reverb would be a cool way to pull it together, but it would have to be super, super, super light. And I had one I liked. I liked this one. And I want the low frequency kind of up to stay out of the room. Pre-delay just means how much space do you want before the reverb begins. And you give a little space just for the attack to sort of things to hit. Call it there. Oh, you know what? I think that was past the streaming plugin, so you might not have even heard that. Well, anyway, just for clarity, so here is without. Here is with. Should be super small. I just did a very, very low mix of a smaller room. I kind of customized it so it's kind of just like a very specific thing, so it's not getting away with like the kick, it's not causing irritating sounds on the like high end of the hi-hat, and it should just kind of be in that nice little pocket, and just kind of puts it in the same room. And this is another way to glue it. I'm also probably, I don't know, maybe I'll take, what's a good way to put this together without being too ham-fisted about it? I'm thinking, I don't know, I almost feel like using like some sort of multi-band compressor or something. I did used to really like the Smile. The electro would make sense. Let's see. Super low ratios. That's funny how much that kick is really coming through. Oh, I did it again. I keep adding mastering plugins. So, I'm just compressing. I think I'm actually going to maybe open this up right here. Okay, cool. Go ahead and do a camera check. Awesome. So let's take it at the top, and we'll go ahead and play all the way through. And obviously it doesn't have like a seamless loop, like you know where it starts and stops, but it's just for fun. So let's go ahead and save, export this. I'm going to get some feedback, and until the next one, I'm sure I will do a little bit of an update if there's any crazy changes to it. But otherwise, I appreciate everyone for checking it out, and peace.